Maybe it's just because they're all like really strong and brooded up right now. Lots of population. Yay! Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is Sunday, June 2nd, 2024, and I'm shooting this intro with my jacket on the ready, so in case one of those headhunters comes after me again like the last intro I shot. It's nice and cool out this morning. It's probably about 70 degrees. It's pretty humid though. Got a band of storms coming at us, and it should be here in probably an hour and a half. And it's overcast. Still a lot of activity flowing in and out of the hives, not near as much as on a sunny day, but they're still pretty busy. So it's kind of a little update. I did do a lot of work out here yesterday and I didn't shoot a video. I level set all of my honey supers. I went through them all and found ones that hives that may not have been working so much on them, and I found several that they're just packed out. So this last winter I built some supers. I think I added 6, and I thought, man, that'll be, I won't need near that many, but I'm out of supers. So, and they've drawn most of those out that I had put new comb in them that was blank. And some I had from before that hadn't been drawn out yet. So most of them are drawn. I think there's 2 supers that have undrawn frames that are out there now, and they just went on to some really strong hives. So it's going to be a good honey year unless something crazy happens. Probably, I would guess, maybe record setting for Jerome Bee Farm. So that's a good thing. I have a lot more healthy hives, strong hives this year than I did last year, and which is odd because I started out with a fairly low hive count, lower than I normally have. I lost quite a few hives in the fall, more than normal, and I lost a couple in the spring if I remember right. But anyway, so I've gone through and I've level set all of my honey supers, and I found one hive, number 14 there. It was strong in the spring, but it had one undrawn super and one drawn out, and the drawn out super was it maybe had 10% in it, and and it's a double deep hive. I have single deeps that have drawn out and filled 2 supers already. So the nectar flow has just been outstanding. But yeah, 14 has underperformed and need to get in there and figure out why. So that's what this video is going to be about. And I was working late yesterday evening, and the sun had set. It was getting fairly dark, and I just had one more to do, and I got to that 14, and I moved the one super somewhere. And then I had hive 9 there, very strong, and hive 9's just left of that apame. And I thought, man, if I could just get this super onto that hive 9, and I opened that thing up, and man, they came out at me with a vengeance. And I guess I had my phone on my side, and that left a little gap in the bottom there where the elastic is on my bee suit, and they got in underneath there, and man, there was a bunch of bees in there with me, and man, they turned me into a pincushion. So bees, when it's dark like that, they don't fly so much, they just stick to you and start climbing. And I guess they climbed up underneath my jacket, and when I took it off after I got up to the garage, I opened it and bees just flew out. It was crazy. So anyway, let's get into hive 14, see what's wrong with it. I suspect it's queenless, and I've got let's see, I have 2 queenless hives remaining, 3 if you count that apame that's requeening. And so I went ahead, I ordered me 3 Wildflower Meadows queens to ship in. I checked out the one Spider told me about from Appalachia, and they sounded good, but 3 queens, he wanted like 80 bucks to, or ship 70 something dollars to ship those. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I went to Wildflower Meadows and it was $30 to ship. Same thing, UPS next day air to the same place. So I don't know why he charges that much for shipping. But I was going to try those. But anyway, I got the 3 coming from California, and I'll requeen Hive 4 and Hive 23 down there with those. And I still got the water meter queen I could do something with. But and I have 1 more nuke. Oh, something else I did yesterday, I expanded most of my 5-frame nukes into 10 frames. Some of them I had already added a second story to the nuke, and I put them into a 10-frame box, and I actually put a honey super on one of those, if I remember right. All right, let's get into Hive 14 and diagnose what their problem is. Yeah, so here's Hive 14 next to Hive 99, formerly known as Hive 13. And you can see the excluder there I took off of it. So it had 2 supers on it. And the entrance, it looks okay. It looks, you know, you think you can tell from the entrance, and it's a good indicator. And all indications is that looks fine. But all these other hives around here are just packing the nectar into the supers. And this one here had 2 supers. One of them was drawn out and it's basically empty. So I moved one of them right there on that Hive 9, and that's the hive that just killed me, stung the crap out of me. And they got underneath my jacket, like I was saying. Also, I took several stings on the legs, and because I don't wear a full suit. And when it's dark like that, they'll get anywhere on you and stick and just start stinging, and that's what they did. And they were stinging me on the legs through my pants. Let's get in this sucker. Yeah, all the bees out on the entrances now are really fanning heavy, so they're trying to dry that nectar down into honey. And what we can do is put little pennies underneath the super to give it a little bit of airflow in there. And you can also put shims under your telescoping cover, or whatever cover you have, raise it up just a bit so they get more airflow in there. It helps them dry the honey faster. But you don't want to do that on a weak hive, which you get wax moths in there and ants or whatever. Most hives can defend themselves pretty well. If they're filling a super, they can protect it. All right, Hive 14, what is your major malfunction? So up here, it looks fine. I see bees all the way across, and I see what looks like capped honey a lot of the area here. So maybe they just are honey bound and they wouldn't move up. I've heard of that happening before. I've never really seen that. Usually if they're honey bound, they're still putting honey up high if there's space. But let's see what we find. This is full of honey, I can tell you, it's heavy. Yeah, both sides are full. Not quite completely capped yet. Yeah, so I expected to see a low population here and maybe even be queenless. But so here's capped worker brood with larvae, and boy, something just set them off. Woo! So we have it's a queen right hive. We may have the honey bound thing going. So most of those empties there, she's gone back and backfilled, and there's a larva, and there she is right there. She's marked yellow. Good thing she's marked. I've never seen her that dark butt like that tiger butt. I can never find those. And I watched a video of this hive just a little while ago in the spring. I rotated it, and it was a nice, healthy looking hive. More brood. Maybe she's just late brooding up. I don't know. This next frame is brood as well. So they're not honey bound to where she can't lay. Brood on both sides. Now that's pollen, some pollen, nectar, and this is completely full. So we may have, this is all the brood right here, and this is all honey. And I think this one, if I remember right from the video, I actually scooted it over one. I guess she likes it on that side. Well, there's a little bit of capped brood right there. Oh, and lots of larvae. This is totally laid up. Well, based on this, I would put a super on here. But it's weird. They weren't working that super much at all. I'd say it was about 10% full of honey or nectar in the one that was drawn out. Oops, sorry little bee. And there's some brood on here. So the video I watched where I rotated this around was from March. Brood there. And what's not brood is nectar. This is a fairly new frame. It was put in last year, but it may have been undrawn this year. So it's completely drawn out on both sides now, and that's full of honey. Totally full nectar, honey, and the next one as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scoot them over one while I'm in here. Then we'll give the bottom a quick look. But based on what I see, ain't nothing wrong with this hive, other than that they just weren't making honey like the rest of them. Maybe it's just a genetic thing. They're just not big foragers. But their main brood box, they got plenty. And they're a little grumpy. They're going for my hands. They like to sting my cuffs and that little elastic band. And occasionally they will put a stinger into these nitrile gloves, but not that often. And if they do, it won't penetrate past my glove liners. One of my viewers left a comment, tip about using nitrile gloves, and this particular brand is called Flickster. I think they're 9mm, they're pretty thick, and they have a long cuff on them that goes up to about right here. So you can get your sleeve down over it. And this is the best thing I've ever had, ever done, was switch to these gloves. Because I used to use beekeeping gloves, and they would always have propolis sticking to them. You can't feel what you're doing. They don't fit real well. These, you actually have some dexterity. You can feel when there's a bee under your hand. When I was getting the bees out of that water meter, I would reach up underneath where I couldn't get with my vacuum, and I could feel if there were bees in there. With those beekeeping gloves, you can't do that. And propolis doesn't stick to these as bad. Man, I just love these. I wish I'd have done this years ago, switching to this kind of glove. They're a little testy, so I'm going to smoke them down. So hopefully when I bust this apart, they won't go berserk. I wonder if the flow is slowing down some, and that's why bees are a little bit more defensive here yesterday. But not all of them were that way. Maybe it's just because they're all like really strong and brooded up right now. Lots of population. Yay! Plus the conditions right now, overcast, not an ideal time, but I wanted to get a video shot so I'd have something for this weekend. I'm thinking this might not have much down here in the bottom. From the looks of it, man, it doesn't matter how slow I go. They're going for my hands. Wow, I see brood down there. Pollen and nectar. So I'll probably do this. I will do the same thing here. I will scoot this over one frame. So that's a lot of brood there and all liquid here. Yeah, these are just as irritated or worse than that extra pissy hive. There's brood on here. So what's not brood is they're filling it with nectar. Same here, and some pollen. Okay, I don't know that there's much need to go any farther. I need to get to a food frame over here so I can scoot them over one. So I will do that. Good grief, they're angry. Again, brood, capped, pollen. So for some reason they've got some kind of a block. Ouch! Stung on the butt. Ah! Well, they don't want to go up. Man, there's brood down here, a lot. Which that's not a bad thing. If they have that top box full of honey. Okay, we need smoke. That top box is full of honey. That's going to be good for them to get into fall and winter. A little bit of brood here, mostly pollen and nectar, and none there, so maybe we're done with the brood. Oh my gosh. It's pissy hive number 2. So, conditions. It's overcast. All right, I'm moving this one. Getting out of this. I do have an idea what I'm going to do though. I have a plan. I'm going to maybe use this to my advantage. So they're not drawing out a super. They're not putting nectar in. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a undrawn third deep on here without an excluder, and maybe get some comb built. And if they do, that's great. If not, that's okay. So maybe I can take some advantage of the last of this nectar flow to get me some deep frames drawn out with new comb. All right, let's get this sucker put back together. Hey, caramba! Ah, man. So I'll bring an undrawn deep here. I'll pull up a brood frame, put it up in the top, and put the blank one down there. That way they'll start acclimating and working up to the top. But right now, I'm going to put this on there, so maybe they'll chill out a little bit. Jeez. Okay, let's go get us a deep box and come back. Okay, we back. So what I brought with me is 9 frames. I have 7 undrawn black plastic, and they are double waxed, and I just rubbed wax on them with one of my big wax paper or wax crayons that I made with toilet paper rolls. So those are handy for doing that. You can get a good grip on it and you can really rub it on there good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my brood frame between these undrawn, and then I have 2 drawn older comb here. That's from a failed hive from last year that was in my refrigerator. And so that'll entice them to work these 2 first, and they'll have their brood frame here. So they'll start drawing these 2 and hopefully those right afterwards. And since they're on the left side, I'm going to move it over one, and that'll have their brood more aligned up at the top. I could have just flipped it around, but then all my date numbers will be in the front, and my OCD just can't handle that. They've got to be in the back. All right, let's get this on there. We'll grab us a brood frame out of here. And I need one more frame. Can't do that with 9. I need one more. Be right back. Okay, number 10. Good plan, poor execution. So we figured it out before we screwed up. That's a good thing. All right. You wouldn't know I manage logistics for a living, would you? Ugh. Hopefully my boss isn't watching this. Man, this hive should be drawing out a super. What is wrong with you? What is your major malfunction? So I'm guessing a brood frame's going to be right here. So because there's a good chance our queen might be on here, need to be careful. I want to pull it straight up, but I'm going to scoot over and create me some space. You don't want to, it's called rolling your queen when you pull a frame up and you roll your queen around. You could damage her, squish her a little bit. Pull it straight up and nice and slow. Got plenty of clearance on both sides. We have clearance. Yeah. Brood both sides. And some larvae. I don't see my yellow dot queen. Oops. We got to put our... Forgot this one. So this is a pretty old, probably should be cold, but I had it handy. It's in good shape. In fact, it's probably better than the ones I got out of my refrigerator that has like some wax moth damage. But there's no date on it, which means it's pre-2013, because that's when I started dating my frames. There we go. Good grief. Yep, now I have the green banana smell in my face from the alarm pheromone of these angry bees. If you ever broke open a green banana or smelled like a green banana peel, that's exactly what it smells like. Okay. Angry bees, get to work. Maybe these bees are like really smart and they knew if they put honey in a super that it would just get stolen from them. Like in the Bee movie. That was the dumbest movie. If you're a beekeeper and you watch the Bee movie, you're like, this is such BS. That's not how that works. Oh yeah, then there's the beekeeper. Wah! You have to hand it to the beekeeper, that dude was a badass. But I refused to pay money to watch it, so I waited till it came out on one of my digital services I have. So Yoke just came up here and laid down. He's probably going to regret that. Hey Yoke! What are you doing? Probably as long as I'm standing here, he's safe. Because they're all on me, not him. I'm going to open them up the rest of the way. This block doesn't need to be on here. Well, I didn't see any swarm cells either, so they're safe from swarming, and that definitely will keep them from swarming if they decide to later. They got all the room in the world. Maybe they can fill that up, and we'll have some drawn out of those new plastic frames, and I can use them next spring. And if they put some honey up here and they start getting low down below, I can start moving that honey down below for them when I take this away. You don't want to run 3 deeps in the winter. That's just too much height for them to keep warm. So I'm going to end the video here. So what do y'all think's wrong with this? I've seen weird things kind of like that, but not to that extent. So I'm going to end the video. Give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. And we'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.